Now, also government-related, and another Fox 5 News alert affecting so many of you here in the DMV, your job and your money, as we're less than 48 hours away from what could be a government shutdown. As a matter of fact, that countdown now to about 38 hours. If a deal is not reached by midnight Sunday morning, and there is not one in sight, parts of the government will shut down. Come Monday, that means hundreds of thousands of workers, many of you watching right now, in fact, could be furloughed without a paycheck until after this is all settled. Fox 5 leading the way with everything you need to know. Bob is live on the National Mall this morning. Bob, I know there's just so much to unpack here, so many elements of the story. The bottom line is there's a lot of people that will get paid eventually, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck like so many of Americans, if the government shuts down for 2 weeks, it could be a month before you get that paycheck.
Yeah, and that's what's happened in the past, Steve, and there's no telling for sure that, for certain, that's going to happen this time. I think everybody who's in that position, whether they're going to be deemed essential and have to work without pay or be furloughed without pay, are thinking they will eventually be reimbursed. But there's still a lot of uncertainty about a lot of things. We are here on the National Mall because we've been telling you this morning that in the coming hours, a 3-day festival, a World Culture Festival, is going to begin here on the National Mall. It's been in the works for a year. Thousands of people are going to be coming here to perform. Hundreds of thousands to visit. There's 600,000 free tickets that have been issued. I want to show you a rehearsal that we saw yesterday. This was one of the groups here, a Pakistani dance group that was performing. We are hearing, not officially, but from some sources, that the questionable Sunday part of this 3-day event is going to be allowed to continue here on the mall, even though the National Park Service is apparently going to be closing all of the parks all across the country. What we are told is that here in D.C., unlike during the shutdown 10 years ago, there will not be fencing put up around the Washington Monument and the other memorials, but they will be closed. We've had a chance this morning to speak to a number of people who are going to be directly impacted. You're going to hear from 2 of them. One who works for the Smithsonian, which apparently is going to have some funding to stay open for maybe a week after the shutdown, but many of their employees will be furloughed, and a government worker we just spoke to, Terrell Smith.
Working with the government for as long as I have, unfortunately, it's an unfortunate situation. But when you think about the Congress getting paid, with federal and contractors not getting paid, it's an unfortunate situation.
How are you feeling about this?
Resigned. We are subject to the political theater that's going on, same as everybody else. I don't like it.
And yet you'll be furloughed, more than likely.
More than likely, if there is a shutdown.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough to, have enough savings. If nothing has taught me before with the last shutdown, that, you need to make sure you have an emergency fund to at least hold off for as long as possible.
Now, among those essential employees who'll be working without pay, you see them there at the airport, the TSA workers, the air traffic controllers, the U.S. military. There are a lot of people who work for the federal government, paid by the federal government, who will be working during the shutdown and will not be getting paid. Others, like Ms. Quigley, who will be furloughed, ideally be reimbursed. But again, there's a lot of uncertainty still, Steve, in terms of how this is going to impact the rest of us. If you're traveling by air, you're probably going to see longer wait times because, as has happened in the past, those essential workers who aren't getting paid will likely call out sick more often. So if you're traveling, if you're planning to visit a park, good luck. Most of them are going to be closed. I will tell you, the state of Arizona is apparently going to pay the federal government to keep the Grand Canyon open, but most national parks and a lot of the functioning of the federal government will be shutting down.
Yeah, and that's when you realize the impact across the country, not just here in Washington, where obviously we have the bulk of the federal workforce. Somebody just asked about the flights. I'm glad that you explained that, Bob. The TSA will still work, but you do run the risk of potentially maybe some employees not going in, and that could cause some longer wait times. As far as getting this situation fixed, Bob, you've covered numerous shutdowns in the past. If we do hit that shutdown on Monday morning, obviously that ramps it up a little bit, right? Historically, does that help both sides come a little bit closer at the table?
It depends on what they're hearing from their constituencies. Really, the sticking point apparently are 10 House Republicans who want more funding down on the border, who are tired of us supporting Ukraine in the war in Ukraine. And if those things aren't going to budge, it doesn't look like they're going to budge, even if they're hearing from some of their constituents who are now out of work and not getting paid. That pressure usually ramps up. The hardliners on the Republican side in the House, who are the main sticking point here, we're not sure if they're going to be moved.
All right. Last time we went through this, it took a couple of weeks to get everybody on at least enough of the same page to get the government and get everybody else back to work. Wishing the best for all of the federal workers here in the D.C. area. Bob, thank you very much. Those are the two big stories we're following right now on Good Day. The good potential of a government shutdown coming up this weekend, and the death of longtime senior Senator Dianne Feinstein here in D.C. overnight at the age of 90.